want to get straight to the point. So, last year I got accepted into a pretty prestigious high school in my region, and I was the only one from my middle school who got into a STEM curriculum. And my mother, of course, she needed to brag to all of her friends, the relatives, about my grades, IQ scores, certificates. Actually, I feel used. Anyway, before the spicy stuff, let's go back to my kindergarten years. My kindergarten years were so blurry that I needed to ask my parents and brother about what I was like back then. And oh boy, I found interesting stuff. First, I usually took three chairs from the class, stacked them together to sleep on them every time. Every f***ing time, dude. And from my mother's words, my teacher back then asked me question about what we needed to do that week or lecture or to learn, I guess. And almost every time I answered right, and I wasn't even focusing. I was like, I want to sleep, or I am sleepy, or whatever. Just so mind-blowing. Second, I remember that time I used to create blocks of perfect shapes and colors like a domino or stack of identical structures. Other than my teacher reading us stories or making us play those statues, I don't really remember doing anything special or out of the ordinary. Well, it was one time I beat up a classmate, and now from what I've heard, nothing special, just he moved to the UK. And except from those memories, I don't really remember doing anything special in the kindergarten. Let's be honest, kindergarten is the place where you go to study, in brackets, or just a place for your parents to drop you out for 6 to 8 hours, I guess. I don't really have a lot to talk about kindergarten, so let's jump to elementary school. In elementary school, I started to show off by being the first to get straight A's and speaking like a teacher. I mean, yeah, I was annoying, really a nerd back then. But now I'm more of a geek than a nerd. I am more social than I used to be. That's not the point, but also in elementary, I tried to connect to other classmates, but because my teacher almost every time make an example out of me, they hated me. And what can I say? I understand them now. Plus, because I didn't really have who to talk to, I was more like a teacher's pet back then. Very interesting that during the fourth and fifth grade, yeah, I know, I and other students from my school had to study at other institutes, so my first school can be, quotes, optimized by some government funding. And yeah, my first year of middle school was at another institute than my first school. And in the sixth grade, I was back in my first school, who I wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, my first school, but it was very corrupted, like goddamn corrupted. The thing is that our principal was a democratic piece of shit who liked being in politics more than actually teaching because he was a history teacher. It's not like I don't like politics. I hate them. Every time, every family gathering is destroyed by one dude who asked, so, who did you vote on? It's always a mess. And then it happened. Middle school. Oh my god. That was the most interesting part of my life so far. I mean, yeah, I did a lot of crazy things in high school, but nothing compared to middle school so far. As an idea, middle school was very different. I mean, the kids were more active, more agile, more smart, sadly, and a lot of students who I don't want to say names, but they were so aggressive that sometimes they pick up rocks from the school grounds and throw at each other. Yep, that happened. The thing that even today boils my blood is the teachers didn't give a fuck. Not even my teacher from kindergarten. Nope, nothing, nada. You know why? Simple. It was a state-founded school. I mean, the state paid from their own pockets at everything, desks, whiteboards, the whole package. Just think about it. If it was a private school, oh no, Billy threw a rock at Jimmy. Of course, Billy is gonna be suspended or kicked out, and in my school, it didn't happen like that. So, one day, one classmate, not of mine, of another friend of mine, threw a rock at a boy, and the rock landed on his chest. What's the problem? That boy was my brother, my little brother, and I couldn't tolerate this, but at the same time, I couldn't do anything because that boy was twice my size. The interesting thing happened when I wanted to go to a supermarket on a break to buy something. And this dude, how can I say it? He pushes me, kicked me, said a lot of bad words about me in front of the store. What's the funny part? That store was owned by my mother. My mother saw the footage, and right there and then, next break, he went in school with not even a supervision, took the boy from his class, and another bully went straight to my class and asked me, "Is this the boy who beated you?" I said, "Yes." I was, well, hiding in my textbook, and oh my fucking god, beated the shit out of that punk like it was nothing. After, she went away, my mother. The funny part, all my classmates, after what happened, they started clapping. Yeah, after what happened, our school threatened us with expulsion and other legal things, but that's the clever thing. My mother called a local newspaper, said that in our school it's a bullying problem. She won the case, and right there and then, in 8th grade, I was moved to another school. And 1 year before high school, I needed to go to another middle school. I didn't dislike the idea because, well, I hated my old classmates and they hated me too. But the thing is, my new middle school was very far away and I needed to buy another apartment, my mother actually, and I needed to stay there with my brother who needed to study along with me there. As an idea, my brother is way younger than me. Like, at that time, he was in the 7th grade and I was in the 8th grade. At the beginning, it was a little hard, but it was a prestigious school slash high school, so I needed to adapt quickly. I graduated the 8th grade. I did a lot of fun things like broughting an Mac Mini to school, on PDA, 2 laptops, blocking the Wi-Fi, blocking the Bluetooth. From all the classes, I loved computer science because our teachers just gave us things like create an HTML presentation slash website. No, I think it was a website, yeah. And in 10 minutes, I was done. And because I was bored, and with Matthew, by the way, Matthew is one of my best friends, and he has its own YouTube channel. We always did all kind of things. Like one time I played some 3DS games on an emulator. One time I was visiting the dark web. One time I entered in the school system and saw the video recording from the class. It was the coolest thing I ever did. The best part is I never got caught. And that's the thing I don't like about my school. Our CS class was a room full of computers who didn't have internet. Yeah, we needed to write things in our textbooks and code things in code blocks or Notepad or Notepad++. So the only method of getting internet is with Ethernet cables, or what I did, very clever, using a USB Wi-Fi adapter with an antenna and hotspot from my phone. And except me, Matthew, and another classmate, let's call him Michael, we were the only ones who got internet. And most of the time, Matthew would do some things like watching YouTube, watching what's new on Craigslist, or something like that. Michael would usually search things on YouTube, and me, well, doing a lot of shady things, like how I said earlier, going to the dark web. disclaimer, very big red disclaimer. If you want to deliver some fake IDs, don't just go at the airport with the IDs in your hand. No, mail them, because they don't have why to search your mail. Am I right? Hide them in a textbook or something and you're all done. And from my experience, hide them in a thick book, like 400 pages or something on that range. Now, in my new class, I observed that half of my classmates were really clever, actually. One knew German, one was fluent in French and German. It was a girl who took the SAT early and she got a perfect score. I'm not saying that I'm jealous or something, but I was dumbfounded when I found out. At the end of the year, I knew a week straight we had chemistry at the last hour and we talked in private, all of us, and decided to just not go. Like 22 students didn't show up for class. It was the best thing that ever happened. I really liked PE because our teacher knew we were in a stressful situation, so usually most of the time we were just reading from a textbook or we were on our phones. Yeah, the teacher didn't give a and after some months and exams and preparation and tutoring, actually, I entered in high school. Oh boy. I was one of the only few people who sign up for STEM classes and a STEM curriculum and actually get in. It was a lot of CS, math, chemistry, biology, and it was rough at the beginning, but I started to adapt. I adapted, but the only thing I didn't know how to adapt was my physics teacher. It's an old man with a past in our school, and he even had problems with the law. Not to get into details because maybe he could find my channel and heard all the ferocious things I said about him, so at the moment I am shut. I'm not gonna say anything. Again, at the moment. And at the moment, the coolest thing I did in high school was in biology class, when all of a sudden our board, because we have an intelligent board, was shut down by an external force. Our teacher was like, "Who did this? You're gonna get expelled, blah blah blah." It was me with a flipper. What could you do? Nothing. Proof I did it without a proof. Or proof that I was paying attention to the class because I was zoning out. And not just zoning out. It's a strange thing that every biology lesson I am dizzy and sleepy. I don't know why, just I like to sleep in biology class. And in 2 days, I'm gonna be in a school trip with my class. We were gonna visit a church or a museum. I don't really remember what we were gonna visit, but hey, no lessons. I'm happy. I know I sound old, but I miss 2018. Such simpler times. And yeah, at the moment I'm recording this video, I'm in the ninth grade, almost 10. I mean, it's 3 months or 2 months until summer vacation, and I'm happy. I don't know how long it would take to edit this video, but let's find out.